So historically, this approach of being negative and looking for dangers, it worked to let us survive. The issue is the world has changed and we haven't. Hey everybody, Dimitri here. Welcome to my healthy keto mukbang. I have prepared this wonderful feast for me here. I have a creamy mushroom soup and I have my favorite baked goods. I just adore baked pies, goods, whatever. These are Pirozhki, Russian dumplings. Some of them are deep fried, some of them are baked. I'm gonna try several varieties today. As usual, this is so delicious. I've already tasted some of them. They just are amazing. Can't wait to dive right in. First things first, prayer and affirmations ritual. Thank you God, for me, you said before, you said before. Thank you God so much. Now this food will benefit. My muscles grow strong in the mighty name of Jesus. My fats diminish in the mighty name of Jesus. I grow strong and prosper in Christ Jesus. I'm a victor in Christ Jesus. Thank you God so much. I give you all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Right, let's begin with the soup, of course. It's a creamy mushroom soup and I've improved the recipe several times. Now it's, in my opinion, perfect. And I forgot to turn off my phone. Let's do it. What do you want, Spam? Google wants to talk to me. Right. With that out of the way, let's continue enjoying the food. Because there is something to enjoy here. It's creamy, yet it's not too full of fat. It's 10% cream. And it's really amazing. The texture is so brilliant. And the original recipe told you to blend the mushrooms but leave some of the chunks. I find it to be horrible because then it's like a chunky mess of different sizes. Instead, I fry some of the mushrooms, so I have these whole fried mushrooms in the soup, and then other mushrooms are blended into a complete pulp, so it's like a cream, like a sauce, and it's amazing. You have this creamy sauce with a mushroom and creamy taste, and then you have these complete solid mushrooms. Since they are fried, they don't let any liquid in, so they stay properly like hard and you can chew them. They don't become like soggy. It's simply delicious. So today I'm going to talk about such a popular really topic, positive thinking. You might have heard these laws of attraction, the film, the book Secret, all these ideas that what you think, it happens, that you attract, what you think about. You have to be positive, you have to look at things positively, because if you think about negative things, you attract negativity. And it often looks like first some sort of bullshit, because like if I think about $1 million in my pocket, they won't appear there. If I think about an elephant in this room, an elephant won't like appear out of a thin air, right? If I think about like, oh, I can fly and I walk out of the window, I'll fall to my death, obviously, right? So it's not like it works, but then it kind of does, and the way it does is quite peculiar, because it doesn't obviously like conjure matter from somewhere, like magic in computer games. And then this positive thinking thing, it's often viewed as some sort of self-delusion. Like people say, yeah, sure, I have to ignore the facts, right? Like I have to ignore the fact I'm poor or sick and go like, oh, everything's fine, it's awesome, right? Like I'm some kind of a fool, right? So it's like self-delusion. But actually no, and I myself thought that at first, that this idea of positive thinking is kind of a self-delusion. You kind of have to like ignore negativity and focus on positivity only. And like you have to actually ignore the facts. And I thought that there are obvious like objective facts about the world and objective state of things. I never thought I would like this. I hated cream soups before. Then my wife asked me to make it for her. And now I love them. They're amazing. But I believe my face is quite dirty. One moment. Yeah, that's better. So now I just adore them because they're so good. So I myself thought that there are objective like facts about things in life, and positive thinking means ignoring the negative side of objective facts. But now I have grasped this key idea I want to share with you. And the idea is this, you see, our attention is very limited. Right now my attention is on this food and on you, the viewer, on the thoughts I want to convey to you. So I mostly think about what I'm going to say next. And then I switch from that and focus on the food I have before me and enjoy it. Because holy crap, there is something to enjoy here. And I have to again switch my attention to you, to think about something to say next. I can't at the same time think about, I don't know, Biden or Trump or my wife or my cats, whatever. If I want to think about US elections or about investment or about my wife, I have to think about that. I cannot then convey some useful information to you. My focus is elsewhere. We really are a single task system. We're not like a computer which can process multiple tasks at once because it has multiple cores. We are a single task system. We can only process one thing good, and at most maybe one thing as our focus and one as like the background process, but we can't really pay attention to everything at once. We have to choose. And thing is, shit happens constantly in the world all the time. Every second someone dies, every second someone is born, every second someone suffers, every second someone has some, I don't know, pleasant moment in his life. Every second something good or bad happens in regards to your moral compass, what you think is good is bad. Every second something happens in the world. You just cannot hope to ever pay attention to all of it. It's simply impossible. So even if you think there is an objective side to life, you can't have it. You can't know this objective side. You can never process clearly enough and dig deeply enough to have a hope, to have an objective evaluation, because it will take you so much time, and by the time you do it, it's going to be irrelevant. You just can't dedicate so much time to a single subject. Like the soup I made. You can find so much good and bad about it. You can discern the recipe, the way it was cooked, all the mistakes and all the features of the soup, all the sensations it brings in your mouth, how could it be improved further, with what spices. You can't have this much time to dedicate to the soup, right? Because you have all the other stuff in the world to think about and to worry about. And so it's like this for everything. Every moment, every situation, every person, every object in life has so much depth to it and so many sides to it, you cannot hope to ever get an objective view, real objective view, and to ever like have a complete view of the subject, of any subject. That's why discrimination and prejudice is normal for humans. That's why it's so hard to conquer racism and discrimination, because we are so used to judge quickly based on certain labels and like skin color, whatever, because that's the only way to survive for us. Like you naturally cannot give a proper assessment to every human being in the world. And so we have grown this system of discrimination and quick assessment based on skill, color, sex, behavior, whatever, that unfortunately leads us to bad circumstances. That's why right now as a society we're trying to overcome it and change it. Like we're trying to replace default discrimination and default judgment with other kind of judgment. Make no mistake, you will still discriminate and you will still judge. It's just a question of if before you said, like for example, black person bad, white person good, now you will say black person good, white person good. That's the difference. But you will still judge quickly because that's how you're made, because you don't have enough attention to pay to everything. You have so little attention and so little time on this planet. You will die one day, and you have a limited amount of seconds until that happens. Every second you think about something, you have your attention on something. It's limited, and things keeps happening. Like events keep happening every moment as the time goes on. So you cannot like say pause, I want to study this. No, it goes on. While you study this, something new comes. And so that's how positive thinking really works. It's not like ignoring the negative sides. It's just understanding that there is no hope for you to study all the sides of any issue. And that's why you're going to choose what is more important for you to focus on. Oh my God. I literally fall in love with the soup. 3 weeks ago, I didn't even consider eating cream soups. And I'm like, this is awesome. And it's so simple to make too. Really. This soup is quite a find. Yep. So, positive mentality, positive thinking is about understanding your attention is limited and paying attention only to something which is worth it for you, which is beneficial to you, which leads you forward to your goals. And that's where we come to why it works and how it works and why it's important. It's not that you think about $1 million and you get $1 million in your pocket because you're attracted by some law of attraction. Of course not. It's about that. Let's enjoy some of this pie. Some sour cream, I believe. It's going to be even better. This variation is quite hard in terms of how it works, like the dough is quite stiff. It works wonderfully, but I prefer this one, which I'm going to taste next. These ones are just so much better. But this is also quite good and they all work. Right, so it's not that you can materialize things with your thoughts, but your attitude towards what happens and your thoughts, they make sure you, like they affect what you see, what you notice next. So your current thoughts affect your next thoughts, and this changes your perception of reality, because again, you can't perceive reality objectively. It's not possible. You only grasp small, like tidbits of a huge infinite world. Infinite both in terms of space and in time. So it's an infinity which becomes anew every second. There's a new infinity added to all the past infinities. It's like infinity of infinity. It's mind-boggling. So, for example, let's say you're poor. You can say, oh, that's bad, I'm poor, I lack, I need, I don't have what I want. That's fact, that's true. Or you can say, I have so much potential. I can improve my living conditions so easily. It's just a small change. Like in Russia, I don't know how it's in other countries. In Russia, a good salary is like, what? $400? It's a very good salary. A month, of course. $400 a month for working 9-by-5 week. So imagine someone works, like earns half as that much. It also happens if you're in a bad situation. So imagine how, like, just several dozen or $100 could improve your situation so much. You could be in this situation where you're hardly like having enough money to spend on anything and have to deny yourself pleasures and conveniences and say, oh, it's such a miserable way to live. Or you can say, when I improve just a bit and I get just a bit more money, I'm going to have so much more. I'm going to have so much higher standards of living. I'm going to afford so much more. Like every $100 is such an improvement for you. And you pay attention to this fact, not that you're poor and needy and wanting and lacking, but to the fact that you have so many ways to improve your life so cheaply. Literally, like finding some money on the floor is already a miracle to you. Literally, like finding some small gig which pays an extra $100 is such an improvement for you. So for you, something which, like for a person who has a 10K salary, would be nothing, for you it's like huge. It's way easier for you to improve your life. And then you can find a better job, you can grow in value, you can find a proper profession, get better money. So many things are in front of you. It's so good. So if you focus on that, your life changes. If you dwell on negativity, you will meet negative people and you'll be at comfort with them. You will not be at comfort with positive people. So you'll mostly be around people who are also like you, suffering and needy, and will have hard time finding company of people who are positive and effective and successful. You will find reasons why you should give up. You will find demotivation in the world all around you. People who cannot get out of this shithole you're in. People who cannot like earn more money, who cannot get better. While instead, if you think positively, this one has some mints pinning in it. And a bit of onions, as usual. But I find some mushrooms as well, and hence the mince filling so much. Really. So, if you think positively, think about options, abilities, chances, you will start to see these options, these abilities, these chances, to notice opportunities to grow. You will literally be looking for ways to find a better job, more money, stuff like that. So by thinking positively, you will grow. By thinking negatively, you will stagnate, you will be demotivated, and you will stay where you are. And that's how it works. It's not that it materializes money or whatever. It's that it makes you see the world differently and take out of the world different things. Makes you see like there's an opportunity here, this option I have, I can improve myself here, I can do this. All these things. And then again, whatever you think about, like what's important to you, when you don't actively focus your attention on, when you do something like which doesn't really load your brain as much, your brain thinks about it in the background. It's like in Sherlock Holmes, he would go to a music concert and still think about the problem. And after he's done with listening to the music, he has a solution. It happens in real life as well. It's not out of the book. The book is written of the people in real life. So again, if your situation is bad and you think about it negatively, in the background you'll be finding ways to like pity yourself, to explain why you fail, why you cannot get out of the situation, find reasons why you won't be able to get out, why it's unfair that you're here and you're not there, things like that. The only sauce except sour cream which works well with these is this spicy sauce, I think. Everything else doesn't really like function here. I tried many sauces, but this is just the best on its own without a sauce or some sour cream. If you think positively, in the background you're going to be looking for solutions, for ideas. If you just think a solution exists, your brain will keep thinking like, where is it? Where can I find it? You'll keep looking for it. And you will find it. And if you won't find it, it's still a bigger chance, like, to find it if you do it. I'm sorry. Again, people often criticize this approach, saying, well, if you're like falling out of a 10th-story building, no law of attraction is going to beat the law of gravity. Of course. If you are like in a terminal situation, where you're like literally falling to your death, or like literally covered under debris and no one can save you under a house that's fallen, sure, you will die. It's inevitable. But again, so many people, like, so little people actually encounter this fatality in their life. Most of our situations are far cry from that. We're not even close to this situation. We are in a quite better situations, but negative thinking makes us think it's like the end. And if you, again, you might think negatively and still get ahead and still get better and still find opportunities. That's true. You might think positively and find no solution and failed. That's true. But it enhances your chances so much. So why not do it? There's literally no reason to dwell on the negative. And there is every reason to dwell on the positive. Literally. So even if it's not exact science, it's not an exact guarantee, it's still a very good reason to do it. And the issue is, we are a product of natural selection, right? So it works very simply. Those who reproduced, their genes, their programming, their skills, whatever, get passed on. Those who did not reproduce, their skills and their genes and their programs, whatever, do not get passed on. So we are a combination of all the genes, skills, attitudes, mechanisms, algorithms of our ancestors who reproduced and born us. And so historically, people who dwelt on a negative, who expected negative everywhere, who expected danger, like some malicious intent, they survived better. Because say if you see a movement in the grass and you are negative, you're oh, it must be a predator who is out to kill me. Or if you think, it's just the wind, you're positive, nah, it's just the wind. The positive person is more prone to dying to the predator if he is mistaken and it's a predator. While a negative person is less prone to dying because if he's mistaken and it's a wind, he still survives, right? So historically, this approach of being negative and looking for dangers, it worked to let us survive. The issue is the world has changed and we haven't. We haven't changed because it takes ages for this to change. It takes many generations, but the world changed so quickly. Nowadays, we don't need to look for predators in every bush. We don't need to look for danger around every corner. And so nowadays, a different approach, the positive mentality, would serve us better. But unfortunately, we are hardwired and programmed to have this negative approach. This one has some mushrooms in it. And it really enhances the feeling of the pie. It is kind of more liquid, and so it feels better. It's more pleasant to chew on it. I have an idea. I have right here 3 more sauces worth trying. I'll be back. Right, let's have some fun now. So let's try this kimchi sauce I have just bought. It's quite huge because it's cheaper to buy in bulk. So let's see. The sauce is good, but not here. In this pie it doesn't work. Itself it's quite tasty, but not here. Let's try different kimchi sauce. Right here. Yes, but no. Finally, let's try this sriracha sauce, the classic eagle sauce. Still, I think better without the sauce. So you see, the issue here is we have changed so little, but the world has changed so much. And now our programming no longer fits us, like no longer is best for our interests. It tries to navigate us using the world it knows, the old world, but we are in a different reality now. And so that's why you have to actively change the way you think. If you would live in a world which is this old world where you lived hundreds of years ago, you don't have to control yourself so much. Like this whole thing about food, calorie restriction, it was unheard of in the past because people died of hunger. It was like, you get to build a bit fat, it's awesome. Awesome. It's now we are so concerned with calories because food is so cheap and food is everywhere. But our body doesn't know that. That's why we have these issues with food. So, my favorite, cabbage and egg. I always wondered why I like cabbage and egg so much. Well, it's in the pie, but I always hated it separately. Anyways, so that's the thing about positive mentality. It's against our programming because usually that led to people dying from danger. But now it no longer does. Now it's beneficial to be positively minded. It's beneficial to only see good and to actually seek good in the world. Because we are way more protected right now as a species. We don't have as many dangers. So we don't need this negative mentality anymore. While positive mentality would propel us forward so much quicker. And again, it's not about being unobjective. You cannot be objective. You can have facts, like fact is you have X amount of money, you have X income, you have X amount of obligations, financial obligations, debt, credit, whatever. Those are facts. But most of the things people call facts are not facts. They are opinions, emotions. Something is bad or good is not a fact. It's a judgment. It's a moral judgment. Even if it is a majority judgment. Like, it's bad to kick a baby in the face, or it's bad to be a racist, it is still not a fact, it's a judgment. And someone can say, it's okay to be a racist, or it's okay to beat a baby in the face. You wouldn't like him, of course, then, but it's his choice. And so, facts you don't have to deny, but opinions you can form. And opinions, again, they don't really understand, they don't really contradict each other. The fact that it's unfair and bad, it won't be put here, no, it's a cabbage pudding, it's gonna be put on its own. The fact that you're poor, say, or ruined, or financially ruined, or you're sick, it does not contradict the fact that you have opportunities to heal, to become wealthy, right? It's cohesive. It's like compatible. You can both be currently financially ruined and be available to grow and to become prosperous in the future, correct? Right. So here is the deal. You don't have to ignore the facts or contradict yourself. You just choose what do you dwell upon. Do you think about the fact you're poor and ruined, or the fact you can be rich and prosperous? Again, myself being a PhD in computer science and security, I always valued objective approach as a scientist, right? And that prevented me from being positively minded. But now I understand that there is no subjectivity in this. It's all objective. Even if you think you're subjective, you're not. You're just objective. You're not objective, you're subjective. You're just paying attention to several things and you think it's for some reason objective. If you think about one bad side and one good side, it's not. There are many more bad and good sides, many more. And that's the key, at least for me. It helped me understand this. There are way more sides than you can ever comprehend. So pick the best side you can and comprehend this. Take the approach that fits you the most. That benefits you the most. I'm sorry. Coronavirus. Alright. Let's get to this one right here. I'm gonna try this. Once more, this peach sauce. No. It seems just not meant to be. It's so good on its own. Simply delicious, as it is. So much enjoyment. Such a simple dish, but me personally just enjoy baked goods, and these Pirozhki Russian pies are simply amazing. That's the thing. You just understand that the way you think about most things is subjective thinking. There is no objectivity, there is no real way to think about things, no one way to think about things, and thus it's to your benefit to choose how to think, to choose what to pay attention to and what not to choose how to frame whatever is happening to you. No matter where you stand, say again, on the financial, social ladder, you can view it as I'm in such a bad position and there are so many people who have it better than me. Or you can view it as I'm so fortunate I'm not having it as bad as those people below me, and I have so many opportunities I see before me in people above me, and I can take position among them. Again, both is true, right? But if you focus on the good, you have a better chance to go on further because you're more motivated and you are in a more comfortable position to grow and expand. And so it's not about being objective or being true, it's about choosing your reality or making others choose it for you. And the issue is by default you're controlled by these urges, these primal algorithms you've inherited from your ancestors, which are negative because by necessity they are, because that's what led them to reproduce in the past when the world was way more harsh and way more dangerous. This dough, listen this, it's way better. It's so soft and nice to chew. So soft and nice, you see? This is just so good. And so if you don't take control, unfortunately you will seize control and will be controlled by something which thinks like your body is acting in your best interest. So it thinks. The issue is it's acting according to the world which no longer exists. These best interests are according to the world which is long past. We live in the new world now. This world just functions differently, but your programming remains the same. So positive thinking really is about conditioning yourself to change your programming. Start thinking about opportunities, about abilities, about positive outcomes, what you could have, what you can have, what you can achieve, what you can do. Alexei, when you approach a problem, what do you first think about? How bad is it? How it's a problem, an issue, a nuisance? Or how can you solve it? How it can be how it can be solved this, or this way, which way is the better way to solve it? That's positive thinking. And negative thinking. That's why in these self-development, circles, at least in Russia, there is this saying that there are no issues, there are tasks. So don't go like, oh, I have a problem, or I have an issue here, or it's a problem. No, it's a task to solve. And indeed, a problem usually is a task, right? But the way you do it completely changes and colors everything. Save the best for last. Really, it's so nice and elastic, it's so soft, like the real bread. And it's very, very delicious. This I wouldn't mind eating instead of a typical wheat-based pirozhki. Really? Of course, it's noticeably a bit different than wheat-based, but on its own it's amazingly good and it quite compares. It's awesome. It's simply awesome. Really, it simply is. So that's the one to talk about today. Understand that positive mentality is not about being stupid, having rose into the glasses, ignoring the problems the world has. It's about how you treat those problems. Do you see them as opportunity for growth? As something which can improve us, or you, or your situation, or someone's situation? Take, for example, again, human rights, feminism, racism, whatever. You can view racism as an issue, a problem, an unfair situation where certain people are judged by their skin color without doing anything wrong. Or you can do this as an opportunity for growth. As a human race, we can grow so much now when we overcome racism and sexual prejudice and all these issues. We're going to be so much better altogether. It's an opportunity, it's good. You can use this as a stepping stone upwards. And that's great. There's so much to do. It's like a computer game, like Witcher, Skyrim, right? The world is full of issues you can solve, quests, tasks, and that's good. If the world would be sterile, if every bandit cave would have been looted and there is no bandit there because the bandit has been killed by the militia, if there is no quest to do because every damsel in distress is rescued, every talking dog has found its master, and so on and so forth, it would be boring to live there, right? It's only interesting because there exists opportunity for growth, for gaining experience and loot, for solving quests and puzzles. That's how your life is. Your life is just like that. Your life, like the computer game, is copied based on your real life. Your real life is like that. You have opportunities, quests, experience waiting for you. And that's good. It's not bad, it's good. A sterile life, devoid of issues, would be boring. It's like death, literally. If there are no issues, no problems, nothing can be improved. If nothing can be improved, nothing meaningful can be done. It's literally paralyzation, it's death, really. That's why again in Russia, they often cite this Chinese proverb, I don't know if it's true, but the proverb goes like this: if you have no problems, you're dead. Think about it. That's true. If you're alive, there's something you can improve, something you can grow in, become better. That means you have a problem, or you're not as good at something, or you need some growth in some area. If you would have no problem, there is no growth to be had. It's just so freaking amazing. Keto pies, almost no carbs, so enjoyable. And that's what I want to talk about today. So I hope some of you found it useful. Be positive. Change the way you think. Control what you focus attention on. It's your choice and your life. Thank you all very much for being with me today. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you'll be the first one to know when I release another Keto Mukbang video. And then check out this playlist right here for more Keto Mukbang videos that you will definitely enjoy. I love you all and see you all again real soon.